We're back. So we left off where Esau and Jacob, they made amends, and now Jacob is headed back with his whole family towards their homeland. Now in this section, there are some adult situations, so I will try to word it a little bit better so I'm not saying the exact word, but just be aware of that. Trigger warning for someone who's been taken advantage of would be the word for that. But okay, let's get started. So this one, we ended up at the end of Genesis chapter 33 verse 18, and now we're on to verse 34. And it says, "Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, had born to Jacob, went out to visit the women of the land. When Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and took advantage of her. His heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. And Shechem said to his father Hamor, 'Get me this girl as my wife.' When Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been defiled, his sons were in the fields with his livestock, so he did nothing about it until they came home. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the fields as soon as they heard what had happened. They were shocked and furious because Shechem had done an outrageous thing in Israel by sleeping with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should not be done. But Hamor said to them, 'My son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife. Intermarry with us, give us your daughters and take our daughters for yourselves. You can settle among us. The land is open to you. Live in it, trade in it, and acquire property in it.' Then Shechem said to Dinah's father and brothers, 'Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask. Make the price for the bride and the gift I am to bring as great as you like, and I'll pay whatever you ask me. Only give me the young woman as my wife.' Because their sister Dinah had been defiled, Jacob's sons replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, 'We can't do such a thing. We can't give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. That would be a disgrace to us. We will enter into an agreement with you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. Then we will give you our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go.' Their proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man, who was the most honored of all his father's family, lost no time in doing what they said, because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of their city to speak to the men of their city. 'These men are friendly toward us,' they said. 'Let them live in our land and trade in it. The land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters and they can marry ours. But the men will agree to live with us as one people only on the condition that the males be circumcised, as they themselves are. Won't their livestock, their property, and all their other animals become ours? So let us agree on their terms, and they will settle among us.' All the men who went out to the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every male. They put Hamor and his son Shechem to the sword and took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city where their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and out in the fields. They carried off all their wealth and all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simon and Levi, 'You have brought trouble on me by making me obnoxious to the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed. But they replied, "Should we have treated our sister like a prostitute?" I mean, they had a point. Then God said to Jacob, "Go up to Bethel and settle there, and build an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau." So Jacob said to his household and all who were with him, "Get rid of the foreign gods you have with you, and purify yourselves and change your clothes. Then come, let us go up to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and who has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods they had and the rings in their ears, and Jacob buried them under the oak at Shechem. Then they set out, and the terror of God fell on the towns all around them, so that no one pursued them. Jacob and all the people with him came to Luz, that is Bethel, in the land of Canaan. There he built an altar, and he called the place El Bethel, because it was there that God revealed himself to him, and when he was fleeing from his brother. Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried under the oak outside Bethel. It was named Allon Bacuth. After Jacob returned from Padam Aram, God appeared to him again and blessed him. God said to him, "Your name is Jacob, but you will no longer be called Jacob. Your name will be Israel." So he named him Israel. And God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and increase in number. A nation and a community of nations will come from you, and the kings will be among your descendants. The land I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I also give to you, and I will give this land to your descendants after you." Then God went up from him at a place where he had talked with him. Jacob set up a stone pillar at the place where God had talked with him, and he poured out a drink offering on it. He also poured oil on it. Jacob called the place where God had talked with him Bethel. Then they moved on from Bethel. While there was still some distance from Ephrath, Rachel began to give birth and had great difficulty. And as she was having great difficulty in childbirth, the midwife said to her, "Don't despair, for you have another son." As she breathed her last breath, for she was dying, she named her son Ben-Oni, but his father named him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Over her tomb, Jacob set up a pillar, and to this day that pillar marks Rachel's tomb. Israel moved on again and pitched his tent beyond Migdal Eder. So Jacob is now Israel. While Israel was living in that region, Reuben went in and slept with his father's concubine Bilhah, and Israel heard of it. Jacob had 12 sons. The sons of Leah, you had Reuben, the firstborn, that did that. You have Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And then the sons from Rachel, you have Joseph and Benjamin. And then the sons of Rachel's servant Bilhah, you have Dan and Naphtali. Then you have the sons of Leah, servant Zilpah, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Aram. Jacob came home to his father Isaac in Mamre, near Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had stayed. Isaac lived 180 years. Then he breathed his last and died and was gathered to his people, old and full of years. And his sons, Esau and Jacob, buried him. Okay, so right now we're skipping back over to Esau and his descendants. This is the account of the family line of Esau. Esau took his wives from the women of Canaan. You have Adah, it's the daughter of Elon, and you've got Oholibamah, and then you have Basemat. And then it says Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, Basemat bore Ruel, and then Oholibamah bore Jush, Jalam, and Korah. So that one had 3 children. Those were the sons of Esau, who were born to him in Canaan. Esau took his wives and sons and daughters and all the members of his household, as well as his livestock and all his other animals, and all the goods he had acquired in Canaan, and moved to the land some distance from his brother Jacob. Their possessions were too great for them to remain together. The land where they were staying could not support them both because of their livestock. So Esau settled in the hill country of Seir. And then this is the account of the family line of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons. You have Eliphaz, Reuel, and then the sons of Eliphaz, you have Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. And then he also had, it says Esau also had, no, his son Eliphaz also had a concubine named Dinah, who bore him Amalek. And then it goes on all the way to the grandsons of Esau's wife Adah. The sons of Reuel, you have Nahath, Zahar, Shammah, and Mitzah. And then, okay, there were grandsons of Esau's wife Basemath. The sons of Esau's wife Oholibamah, daughter of Anah and granddaughter of Zibeon, she bore to Esau Jush, Jalem, and Korah. Okay, and so there were also several chiefs appointed, and they have their names on here. Okay, and then it goes on to the sons from there. There's several on here, so we're just gonna, if you would like to look at the genealogy, there's definitely a whole list for Genesis 36 verses 11 through 29 if you want to look at those, but we'll move on that one. You've got the rulers of Edom. So these are the kings who reigned in Edom before any Israelite king reigned. You have Bela, son of Beor, became king of Edom. His city was named Dinhabah. When Bela died, you've got Jobab, son of Zerah from Basra, succeeded him as king. Okay, and again, this was several listed of different rulers that succeeded over time. So again, we'll skip through all the list of those names. Okay, and so it looks, we're gonna go down. Okay, so that was just explaining the whole family line of Esau, and he's the father of the Edomites. Okay, and so from there we go to the story of Joseph. So Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, in the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Okay, so Esau's brother, we're back at Jacob over here. So Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of their sons. Okay, remember Israel is also Jacob. They're the same person. Because he had been born to him in his old age, and probably because he was Rachel's son and he loved Rachel the most, let's be real. And he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, and then suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna have time for today. I'll probably just start back over on the next video at the beginning of that, where it talks about Joseph's story. So we'll see you next time in the next episode, and we'll do the story of Joseph. So we'll see you then.